my lair is very, very real. I think that the thing that I'm most proud of is how detailed everything ended up being. You know, there's just like small things that no one would even realize was happening when you're watching it, just whether or not, like, when you're in the lair, that I am actually picking the like what it looks like. So even down to furniture and the blankets and the things, you know, I remember when we were shooting in the lair, I like wanted to know what the flowers were, what they didn't. There were like flowers on the roof that you couldn't touch. And I loved the idea that if you touched, they were poisonous. And I loved that they were poisonous because it meant that she had thought about protecting herself.
Yeah.
You know, it meant that the team had gone, let's get these flowers are really beautiful, but they're also like highly poisonous, so you just cannot touch them. And I was like, that's actually really clever. Such care went into all of this. That I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize how detailed everything really was. But it was real. It's real. That right down to the broom that was made. I saw when it was being made. I picked the wood that I wanted it to be made of. I asked them to, yeah. So we did research to see what it should be made of. And I had a conversation with I've been having a conversation with John since the day I sort of was cast, and we were sort of talking about, well, what do we want it to sort of be made of? What does it want to feel like? What does her lair want to look like? What does it want to? And we were like, what about the mangrove root? Because of it communicates with other trees. So the mangrove tree, yeah, it has a really complicated information highway that goes deep underground and communicates with the other trees. And I was like, what a beautiful idea that her broom is the mangrove root. So you see that it's sort of like intertwined, that goes all around. And then what we did was we had this wonderful artist who's just right out of like St. Martin's, who made the gummy version of it. So like there's like a solid pole in the middle of the broom, and then the mangrove is molded around it. So she created the mold of the mangrove, and I asked her to give me a claw at the top of it. So you'll notice that there's like a mini claw at the top, and we like right down to the broom, the actual broom itself, not just the handle. We tried out different colors, different shapes. At one point, there was like one that was shaped like a flame. And then I was like, no, it wants to be able to, if I put it down, I want it to be able to stand on its own, you know? And I want a wide enough base so that if I have to use it, then I can like, so we ended up with this sort of like, almost like rhombus or something like that.
Like a rhombus.
Yeah.
So like,
so that it was flat at the bottom and then a little bit less at the top. But there's surface area. But we all made all of those decisions right down to the color. There was a version where the broom was sort of reddish, like a reddish wood, but that didn't feel right. And then it was like a darker sort of deeper wood. And then there's a black version, or there was like a warmer sort of wood. And then there was the wood that I got, which was sort of like tattered and distressed, but still there was a warmth in it. That was right. But we went through all of these things, picking. I had like a smorgasbord of things to pick from. I'd like that with this, like a darker sort of deeper wood. And then there's a black version, or there was like a warmer sort of wood. And then there was the wood that I got, which was sort of like tattered and distressed, but still there was a warmth in it. That was right. But we went through all of these things, picking. I had like a smorgasbord of things to pick from. I'd like that with this, and I think this works with that, and maybe we should have the element of this on this as well, to pick the details of all of it. If there's connective tissue through everything, it will read. It reads. So like there's a wonderful moment in the beginning of Wonderful where, and if you blink, you miss it. He slides the broom to Glinda, and he slides the broom to me. It looks like CGI, but that is the broom going into my hand.
That's so cool when you
That is the real broom going to my, and I would catch it every time. It was like a magnet to my hand because I knew it very well. I understood that broom. That broom was my broom. I know how to catch a broom. I know how to catch it. So it would always right into the hand every single time.
When we reach No Good Deed,